Hey guys, Nicole Vargas, Digital Learning Coach, Spring High School here. I am going to be creating a video today going through adding an assessment into Schoology and showing you how to add each type of question that Schoology Assessments has to offer. So if you're watching this video, you've probably attended Coach Wyrick and I's professional development. And so this is going to be just a supplemental material, if you will, to help guide you through creating an assessment and then giving you a glimpse into how to create each different type of question. So the first thing I want to do is show you that if you're in your course, of course, you can click on Add Materials. You've probably figured out this part by now. And then you can see here you have a test and quiz option and an assessment option. So if you've talked to me about assessments at all, you know that I hate that it's called assessment because it doesn't have to be an assessment. So the biggest thing we want you to take away from this right now is that you can use this feature for any type of assignment. It does not have to be an assignment, or an assessment rather. Now, the test quiz feature is supposedly being phased out by Schoology, so you may want to, start exploring assessments if you haven't already. And I'm going to show you that I think it has a lot to offer that hopefully you'll like. So if you just click Add Assessment, we will call this Spring High School PD Sample. Okay, so now I'll set a due date. Of course, when I'm ready, I can enable submissions or I could do it now. My category, I'll make it a daily assignment, and then I'm going to create it. So when it pops up, one of the first things you're going to see is this setup screen. What I really like about this is that you can add instructions, including any kind of graphics or math people equations, things like that. And then the assessment settings, if you look down here, there's a lot of options that are pretty helpful, especially since a lot of our kids are still learning virtually. So you could set time limits to these tests. You can randomly order the questions, which I think is pretty cool. And then there's a bunch of other features. So go ahead and take a look at these. Again, little things like allowing students to use a calculator or a ruler during the test, or be able to highlight, all different features that you might find helpful. So a lot of people, when they create an assessment, they don't spend the time to look at these features, but you'll definitely want to do that, especially down here at the bottom where it says allow students to view results or the number of attempts students can submit. Now, something I want to urge you to think about is if you have a test that is going to be given across multiple periods, you probably don't want to turn this on because you wouldn't want a student to have the correct answers and then just give it to the next class. So just keep in mind these types of features and figure out what works for you and how that can work for your class. Okay, and then the questions, which is where we're going to spend most of our time today. What we're going to do is look over here on the left-hand side where you can see all the different types of questions that are offered. So we'll go to multiple choice. And we're going to add a question here. I'm going to pause the video so I can type that in. So as you can see, I've typed in the question here and then I've added some answer choices. Now, what's really important is that when you scroll down under your options, you're going to see this correct answer setup. Obviously, this is very important. You want these to be graded by Schoology, so you have to, of course, set up a correct answer. So you'll see I chose the correct answer, and then another feature here is that I can shuffle these options. So along with randomizing the questions, you can randomize the answer choices, which again helps you ensure that cheating is less likely to occur. You can also set it up if you wanted it to be multiple responses, sort of like the checkbox option in Google Forms, which a lot of you like to use as well. And then we're going to say exact match. In other words, if they don't have this answer, it is wrong. Versus in some other types of questions, and we'll talk about that, you can have a partial match for credit. Okay, so when I'm done, I'm going to click on Learning Objectives. I'm going to scroll down to State Standards, Texas, and then I'll go to, let's just say the ELAR TEKS. And what I want to show you is why on the back end it's helpful that you go through and just take a little bit of time to attach the TEKS because it'll help you get some data on the back end. So that's easy. I just attach that, and then I'm going to hit save. And then that question is there. Next question, true or false. Again, I'm going to pause the video and type it in. All right, so that was a true or false question, and that is going to be false. And so what I could do is require a correction if I wanted to make them give me the correct answer. And then again, I have my TEKS there, and I'm going to save. Next question is going to be matching. Okay, so I have the question here. This is a matching question, so I have my choices all down here, and then what's important you'll see is once you enter the options that you want to match up to these questions over here, or prompts as they call them, is you want to make sure you scroll down, and then you're going to click and drag the correct answers so that again Schoology can score this. Okay. The next question type is going to be ordering. All right, now for this one, I've entered the question and the answer choices, but let's say I only want 3 answer choices. So all I have to do is come over here and I'm going to X out of that. And then if I shouldn't have done that, I do realize I want to add more, then I'll just hit this add option button and continue to add as many as I need. Now down here, I'll have to click and drag into the correct order to make sure that that's what comes up for the student's correct answer. Now, this is one that I want to order. Let's say I'll give partial match credit if 1 is in the right place. So let's say as long as this one is in the right place, they'll get credit for it. But if these 2 were switched, they're not going to be penalized for that first one. Like they'll just be penalized for the ones that they missed. So if you want to afford them that credit, then you would just click partial match. So you can also change the layout of what that looks like if you so choose. And again, of course, the standard. And the next choice is going to be fill in the blank text rather. All right, so this one you'll see I entered the question, and in order to get this to pop up, all you need to do, if you look up here, is enter just a little underscore, and then this will automatically pop up. So as you're typing, if I were to add an underscore, whoops. If I were to add an underscore, you'll see it just pops up automatically. So now down here, I will type the correct answer. And then I can also choose if I want it to be case sensitive. So if you choose to do that, go ahead. And then the next question is going to be fill in the blank drop down, which is a little bit different. All right, so you can see I've entered a question here. So I have 2 responses this time, and they're going to be a drop down. So I wanted 3 options to come up in that drop down menu. So all I did is I clicked that option add button, and if I didn't want that one, I can just exit out of it. So now where the correct answer setup comes down here is it'll show you what the drop down will actually look like. So I'll just select the correct answer. And then again, this is the type of question I want to give partial credit. So if they get September right, but not May, they'll still at least get partial credit. And then the next question is going to be another fill in the blank, but this is going to be a drag and drop. All right. So, where did my camera go? All right, so now I have another question with 2 responses. I could do more. And the cool thing about this one is I'm going to add all of these responses that could go either to answer response 1 or 2 versus the last one where we had 2 separate columns for question choice 1 and question choice 2. This is just all sort of like a group of correct or possible answers that they're going to click and drag. So I added 6 different options, and then what I'm going to do down here is I'm going to drag them. And then I again want to click partial match. And now if you had a question where both of these answers were the same, then you could just duplicate responses and you could put both of those answer choices in there as well. Okay, I'm saving. And then the next question type is going to be short answer essay. All right, so for this question, being that it's a short answer or an essay, I have a prompt here that says, explain in detail the process of photosynthesis. So now there's some formatting options you can choose from, including a word limit. So if you want to set a word limit, you can. And then if you want it to be visible to them, you can also make it visible. And then that one, I mean, that one's pretty self-explanatory. Of course, you would have to grade that. That's not going to be something that's automatically graded. And the next question type is audio. Okay, so now for this one, it's going to be an audio file that your students will record. So similar to a writing prompt, I have them explaining in detail the order of operations. I'm also giving them a little hint to remind them what we may have talked about in class, and then they'll be able to just make an audio file and upload it into this question where they would explain in detail this process. And then I will save that. And the next question is going to be a video file. All right, this question is not my favorite. I am not a math person, but hopefully you math people will appreciate this. So this is going to be a video question that requires students to record themselves solving an equation. I asked them to please be sure to explain each step and then show the camera the notes or the steps that they took to get their answer. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the equation by hitting this add math button. And I can enter, so let's say 2x, so I can enter variables plus, and then I can do this to create a fraction. And I'm going to make it, let's see, I'm going to try to make it a pretty number. Let's do, here, let me back up. Let's do 2x plus 8. I'm cheating, can you tell? 2x plus 8 equals 4x. Oh wait, I forgot to do, here we go. 4x over 4, okay? And then I can just insert that and it's gonna show up, boom, like that. Awesome. Next type of question is a file upload. All right, this one's pretty simple. I'm just asking them to upload a picture of them doing their favorite hobby or just a favorite, the hobby itself or them doing the hobby. So all they'll do is upload the file. Pretty simple. And the next question type is going to be label image. All right, so for this one, I have them labeling an image of a skeleton. So I told them to label the skull, sternum, humerus, and femur, and then I uploaded an image, which was that of a skeleton. I'm going to hit response box for as many responses as I want, which in this case is 4. And then I'm going to click and drag them. Where they need to go. There. Okay, and then down here, I'll click and drag them. I'll offer partial credit. Okay, so unfortunately, as I suspected, I ran out of time, but I'm going to make a part 2 with these last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 types of questions. So stay tuned for part 2.